Good evening. Good evening, everyone. And thank you guys so much for joining us for this week's edition of Sisters of Legacy. We are going to go ahead and run our intro, and I will be right back. Oh, what is this? All right, guys, we are back. So, once again, thank you for joining us. Um, I have my wonderful co host. Ladies, introduce yourselves.
Hey, this is Tangela.
Hey, I'm Shanetta.
Katrina.
I know every time I throw y'all for a loop, y'all be like, what?
Blank stare.
Katrina said, "Oh."
So thank you guys. Thank you guys. It is our pleasure to be here tonight to share our words of wisdom and inspiration with you. So, as they introduce themselves, we have Katrina Taylor on the bottom and Tangela Terrell and Shanetta McNair. And I am Samantha Walker. Oh, so I have you guys on live online. I want to take the opportunity to thank my co-host for the birthday shout outs and for the video. It was great. Oh man, that video made my day. And you guys kept it a secret. That was like amazing because I was like, nobody said nothing. Like, I really thought like I was flying below the radar because nobody mentioned it. And then there was the video. So thank you, ladies. It really did make my day and make me smile, laugh, and cry. And then, of course, at the end, cheer. Like that was the best part. But thank you, ladies. So I appreciate it. So tonight we are talking about hair, the wonderful stuff that comes out of our head. Now, listen, there's so many different directions you could go in. We're talking about hair. There's so many different opinions. There's so many things you could do with it. So, ladies, let's start with your personal preferences. So, what is your preference for your hair? Or do you have a preference? Or is it just kind of like if I see something I like, I go with it? Shanetta?
I'm so serious about my hair. Yes, I have a preference. I play no games about what I prefer, and it is what it is. Like it or love it. So I am 100% unpermed. I'm not gonna say natural. I am 100% unpermed. So I maintain because I cannot manage my unpermed hair. I do maintain a sew-in at all times. I will not exit my home if I do not have my sew-in. I don't even take it out myself, honestly. So like you won't catch me out in public without it because I don't take it out myself. Pick it up. I go see my hairdresser every 2 weeks. She maintains it. She takes care of me. And then when it's time for it to come down, she takes it down. She washes my hair in that salon. She puts it right back up. I don't go to the parking lot. I won't even go to my car while my hair is undone. It's just not gonna happen. We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna be out in these streets looking like that. So that's my preference.
Okay. So has that become your preference because it's just easier for you not to have to deal with it, or is it like, something else?
it's easier to deal with. I typically don't touch my hair. I go get it done every 2 weeks. So like when I say I don't touch it, like I put a bonnet on at night, and if I have to do more than this to it, she already know I'm gonna look at her crazy. There are times when she'll be like, okay, I want you to pin curl it. Okay, I want you to, to put the flexi rod rollers in it. And I'll do it for like 2 or 3 days. And then after that, I just be like, I'm gonna put a bonnet on, and whatever come out of this bonnet in the morning is what we gonna go with for the next 2 weeks until I come back to see you again. And she laughs, but that's literally what I do. Like if it requires more than me to unroll it, like when she started talking about pin curling and like the curls be going in the wrong direction because I can't see right in the mirror to try to pin curl it the right way. So the least level of maintenance for me. Okay. And that is literally the least level of maintenance without pulling all my hair out. Because I tried to maintain like braids for like several years. That doesn't work so well. And I don't like anything with my whole, like with hair pulled back, like, doing all the other fantastic styles and all that kind of stuff. I'm hard to please. So it's like, just stick with the basic. Like, we might go curly, we might go straight, but that's about as daring as it's going to get. Oh, the color is new. That's like within the last like 2 to 3 years. Because before that, I wouldn't mess with color either. So I was just kind of like, I wouldn't be daring. It's like, we're not going to do too much. Can't do a whole lot. Got to keep it simple.
Okay. So Tangela, personal preference.
So I was going to say natural, but when you said unpermed, that made me kind of question, am I really natural? Because I prefer to, you typically wear my hair straight. When it comes to my hair, I'm like literally all over the place. 1 minute I, want to do the natural, like I've been doing the wash and goes lately. And then the next minute I want to cut it, I want to perm it and do something else. My go-to are knotless braids. They're just so easy, so convenient. You can style it in so many different ways without really thinking about it. It can be elegant, it can be casual, it can be classy. But those are my my go-to. But typically you'll find my hair pressed out. But it is harder to maintain. It is harder to maintain when it is not permed because you get the the poof in the roots. To get it like this weekend, I got my hair done Friday and went to a cookout Saturday, and it didn't cooperate. So it was like almost like money down the drain.
Okay. Trina.
I enjoy all things natural. I don't even know how long my hair's been natural, but up until the last year and a half, I was a loose natural, so I was rocking the puffs, twist out, braid out, all that kind of stuff. But I started to really like doing, hey mommy, like my go-to style was the 2-strand twist, like tiny 2-strand twist, and I would wear that for a couple weeks, and I could wash it with the tiny 2-strand twist in. Then I started doing tiny braids, and that would last longer than that. Okay. So I was like, wait a minute. So what I have now is micro locks that started with tiny braids. So it's tiny braids, and then I interlock the new growth. And so you can't really see it if you're not up close. So like this much is locked now with the interlock, and the rest is braids, and then the end is out, so it's kind of curly on the end, like the regular spiral at the end of your hair. And that's what I'm doing now, and it's so easy. I just wash it like this. I can do a braid out, and it can be wavy. I can put it up, down, wear it out, and so I think I found my thing. I think I'm here to stay.
For how long? Because I thought so. Here's
You're right. You're right. You're right. I'll change it up. Like I had locks. I had regular size locks for like 10 years. Then I unraveled those. Like I combed them out. People say you can't, but you can. I combed them out. Yeah. I'll change it up. But for now, right now, I'm good. I'm happy with these. They're very flexible. I can do a lot of stuff with it. So
okay. So so when it comes to hair, let's see. I don't know. I think I've done just about everything to my hair, from shaving it all off, because I did that too. To, as you can see, this is not my hair. Of course, this is some tracks, but my hair is this fire engine red under here because I dyed it too. Typically, I like to wear my hair short. I'm more of a relaxer type girl because I wear my hair short and I don't want to have a short afro. So I tend to relax my hair. Now I keep it dyed. I never dyed my hair. And then when I became a cosmetologist, I started messing around with dye. And so now I can't stand when my hair is black. Like the black is just such a turn off. I fell in love with red. And so this is kind of like where I keep it. I feel like the beauty of a woman, though, is kind of, we can be anything. Your hair is so many possibilities. Like, I'm never going to be the one to say, oh, team natural, team I feel like if you're a woman and some days, you might be having a bad day. Like for me, I'm having a bad day or I'm in a funk, the last few days been whatever. My husband can tell you, I will go in the bathroom. I'll be in there for a long time. When I come out, I could be done shaved off half my hair. My hair is going to be different, but so will my attitude. It's something about that fresh hairdo that just makes you feel like you can conquer the world. Have you guys ever felt like there's a pressure for your hair to look a certain way?
I want to say yes. I have, and it could have been my own pressure and not necessarily pressure from anybody else, but just kind of like my own thoughts of my hair has to be put together. Like for a while, I would be like nervous about times when I was working previously, nothing recently, but I would be nervous about times when I wanted to go get my hair braided. Just simply because like, I don't want anybody to think that I'm, trying to be a certain type of way or, think anything different of me because I chose to get my hair braided or I chose a particular style. But I was also very basic with like the types of braids that I would pick anyway, because like I said before, I'm picky about my hair. So, but I would be very careful with even what I would choose and what I would pick. I think for me, color was one of those things that I kind of felt like was a pressure point where you really shouldn't do too much. If you're kind of trying to be professional, you should try to back away from certain things. And it actually took my daughter to pull me a little bit when it came down to color, which is funny because her hair was blue for a long time. And it was almost like it was certain colors that I felt like we didn't do. Right. And when she got a certain age and she started saying stuff like she wanted purple hair and blue hair, and I'm looking at her like, who's raising you? So crazy me, I'm just like, okay, whatever. Like, you can't dye your real hair, but you get a sew-in and our stylist can add, whatever color to the sew-in. And then it kind of grew from there to where she was just like all out, like, I'm dyeing my hair. I want to dye my hair blue. And I'm like, okay. And she did. She literally did it. And went from like blue to like that crazy looking turquoise green color. before she has to re-dye it blue. But before I was just kind of like, yeah, no, you can't go out in public like that. Like you can't go out in public with color hair like that. Like it can't be too bright. It has to be natural colors. Even when I opened my business, that was one of my requirements in my handbook, that you had to have natural color hair. So it could be like the honey blonde, those kind of colors, but it could not be anything like fire. My daughter was so bothered with me when I did that, but I was like, I just don't want people walking around here looking crazy. Like I just need natural hair colors. And it wasn't even what we ended up with. Like we had people with we had my daughter and she had blue hair. So yeah, there's that. So that didn't last long, but it was really one of the things in my head, because professionally I felt like your hair has to fall into certain colors in order for you to be fully viewed as a professional.
Okay.
I would agree with that. I think a lot of my, because I'm kind of like you, I didn't venture too far out. I think the boldest I got with hair color was like that honey blonde, almost like a goldish color. But it was more so the notion that braids weren't as professional. Only because I heard, people say that, but I think this was like decades ago.
Yeah.
But I think things have changed, especially in corporate America, where we're more diverse and really pushing people to really bring their full selves to work and not necessarily be a cookie cutter image of each other or replica of each other. And hair is one way that people express themselves. So that I think that pressure from corporate America is kind of where I felt it. Is this, business professional, or, is there stigma against, braids in the workplace and things like that?
Okay. Trina?
When I was in law school, it's the craziest thing. We had this handbook about going on interviews and everything, and it says specifically in there to avoid ethnic hairstyles.
Wow.
The sisters were not amused. We had something to say about that. But I don't think I felt a lot of pressure about my hair, because I walked in there on interviews with locks or whatever. But one thing I would do when my hair was loose, I would always, or even at any point, I would put it back in a bun for the interview. But when I got to
with
work,
the locks,
and then and when my hair was loose, I would always put it back in a bun for the interview. But when I went to work, poof out, whatever. I didn't care, because I'm like, I'm here to do a job, and you won't get whatever, like like Shanetta said, whatever come out from under this bonnet is what you're gonna get at home. I didn't care. I knew I was gonna show up. I knew I was gonna do a good job, and my hair was gonna be neat and groomed. But if I had a big puff back here, that's what it was gonna be that day.
Hey Richard, thanks for joining us. Honestly, I don't really feel pressure about much of anything. Like I don't know. I think I always hear my own music in my head. Like so, I tend not to focus too much on outward stuff. Like I said, regardless of how I feel, like I'll go and I'll cut it off, and sometimes in church they feel like the woman's hair is a glory, you ain't supposed to cut it and not supposed to whatever. I've kind of always just listened to my own tunes. I've never really felt any pressure about whatever. And honestly, like I feel like our counterparts, they don't feel pressure either. They'll come to work. I've even seen in some professional settings and have pink hair. It is never, like it's never questioned. But like how, why should we feel some kind of way about braids? Like me being in corporate America, I can do my job regardless of what, my hair is my personal expression. Long as I'm like you, Trina, long as I show up and do the job, like I don't really feel like it should matter. but unfortunately, it does sometimes. So
Yeah.
how so Trina, I know you said like there was something in the book. Like how specifically did you guys respond to, what was in the book about your hair or about the ethnic styles? Or was there a specific
I'm
response,
not
or you
sure.
just kind of ignored it?
No, we went and we spoke. I can't remember who the person was that we spoke to, but we did go and we spoke to someone about it, and we said like, this is ridiculous. Like, what does that have to do with anything? But I don't think it made much of a difference because I don't remember them making a change to that handbook. I don't think they made a change at all to the handbook. They left it like it was and was like, this is what we recommend, and that was it. So we were just like, well, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. But this is back in what, 95. So I think we've made a lot of strides since then. Um, Although I don't know how much when we've had to legislate, no discrimination based on your hair.
Right.
So I mean, you know,
I should said that has got to change, right? But we still have to. I feel like a lot of the arguments we're having, not just about our hair, but just about different things. A lot of the things we're fighting for today, like I kind of feel like it's almost like deja vu. Like we've been fighting for some of these very same things on and off, for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like, it's almost like a scary thought. In the sense that, is change really happening? Or do we just kind of move on? Like it's not getting better. We just move, we're just kind of moving on from it.
Yeah. I think as time progresses, we kind of repeat some of the same cycles over and over again. And I think it just depends on how we respond to certain things, on how bad it gets, or how much progress is made. I think when we respond in ways that's kind of like laid back, where we're just kind of like, oh, well, technically they're right, we should be more mindful, it kind of gives permission for the pushback professionally. And I have to say that I was one of the, even being a woman of color, still being one of those people that was just kind of like, well, maybe we shouldn't do too much. But like I said a few minutes ago, like watching my daughter has kind of really even helped me in a sense, because it's kind of like she had her blue hair and she was perfectly fine. She was living her blue hair life and she was okay with it. And it was cute. It was really cute. And it was just like, that doesn't look so, like, you kind of cute, girl. Now, I did tell her I didn't want blue hair in my pictures because it was going to clash with my picture colors. So for the summer, she went back to a natural hair color for my pictures. But she told me, time I go back to school, we're going back blue, or whatever color she decides when she, so chooses or feels. But she helped me because, like, seeing her with the blue hair on, it kind of made, like, I guess having to look at her every day with blue hair made me not turn my nose up to it so much. It was just kind of like, when my kid has blue hair, so you can't be out here judging folks with blue hair. Your kid has blue hair. But it was really cute on her. And I just, I learned a lot from watching her with her hair. And she's natural. So she's natural with blue hair. So like she's wearing her, her puff, she's wearing her ponytail, her twist out. And it was super cute. And I'm just like, girl, you kind of cute. And I love her natural hair. Like, I don't want her to straighten it. I don't even want her to really wear a sew-in because I love the way her hair looks naturally. But yeah, she rocks out her blue natural hair.
Shanetta, I would have to agree with you on that because I was actually talking to my husband about your daughter. It was one time it was like a green. It was such a pretty color. It was like it wasn't too bold,
Right.
but it was enough where you could see it. And it was just, and I said, if I were to do color, I would want to do it like that, because it was cute. No, you're absolutely right. It was cute. But I think that's kind of the difference with this generation, where they're just like, why?
Yeah.
What does color have to do with my professionalism? What does color in my hair have to do with my ability to do X, Y, and Z, and they're not really for the assimilation.
Yeah.
So I love it.
Yeah.
I love the, kind of that rebellion a little bit within reason. But it really, kind of pushes the envelope.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought your daughter's hair is always pretty.
I know one time where I absolutely panicked about her blue hair. She was going to represent the jurisdiction as Miss Georgia Metro in the Kojic pageant. And we were on the way. I hadn't even thought about it. I literally hadn't thought about it. And we were on the way to Charlotte for AIM. And we were in the car. And I don't know, I guess I turned and I looked at her and I was like, oh, you have blue hair. And I was like, you're going to represent the Church of God in Christ in this pageant with blue hair. And she thought it was the funniest thing in the world. She was like, and I'm gonna go with my blue hair. And it was so funny because we got there and people would be like, oh yeah, the one with the blue hair. And that's how they remembered who she was. They were like, oh yeah. Of course, the only girl in the entire pageant with
I was going to ask, did anybody else have any color?
Nobody else had color hair. The only girl that was kind of like outside the box. And then on top of that, her dress was off the shoulders. I was like, oh my gosh, we're in so much trouble. They're going to be like, look. So we had to go buy a shawl. Nonetheless, they did pull us to the side about the dress. They were like, her shoulders have to be covered. So I had to run down to the Kojic market, buy her a shawl to go with the dress really quick. But she was in the pageant with blue hair. And I was just like, ooh, child, we pushing the envelope right here.
So I have a question. As being women, your hormones change, your bodies change. When all those things are happening, it can also at times affect your hair. Have you ever had any issues with like hair loss or alopecia and spots or anything like that you're comfortable talking about?
I have. And I felt like I had like patches like right in the back of my hair. And I felt like it had to do more with stress, maybe, that I was going through at that time. And, but also I had, for a couple of years, I went back and relaxed my hair. So I didn't know whether it was a combination of the relaxer and the stress together. But when it started coming out like those, I had like 2 patches that came out, and I went to a dermatologist and she recommended like injections or whatever, and so I started with that, but then she was like the only dermatologist of color in that area, and then she packed up and moved down south. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? But not too long after that, I went back natural, and that seemed to help with those patches of the baldness, and it grew back in. So I don't know. I really think, however, that a lot of it had to do with stress at the time.
Okay. Shanetta, you look like you were going to say something.
So I have a spot in the back, my hair in the back, like the sides like will grow long, but the middle part won't. I never really knew why. I didn't really care why after a certain point, because I wasn't really trying to wear my hair out anymore. So it didn't matter. So I was just kind of like, whatever, braid it up for the sew-in. We're good to go. But that, like, so I struggle with the way it grows. And scalp dryness. So I had, for a very long time, I didn't know what to do with my scalp until I did do a dermatologist for a little bit. And then after a while, I was kind of like, well, my hairdresser is maintaining my scalp and like taking care. I have a really amazing hairdresser. So that's another thing too. Like, you can't just go to random people all the time to get your hair done. And we had to kind of really settle into a person. And I've been with her, I guess, for about 7 years now. about 7 years. And we tried in the midst of those 7 years. I was like, oh, she's too far. We're going to go to this girl who's closer. That didn't last but for like maybe a month. And I was just kind of like, nope, got to get back on her schedule. Let me go back over here, because she doesn't just take care of doing my hair. She's making sure that what she's doing is good for my hair. Right. I do change my mind and say, I want to wear my hair out or whatever I want to do. So she's taking care of my scalp and my hair. But I struggled with extreme dryness and then hair growth. It was really hard. And a lot of people say that when you have kids, that during your pregnancies, it kind of like messes up your hair really bad. I don't know if that happened to me or not. But I know that I struggled in that area a little bit.
So, you know, I shaved my hair before, because it fell out like bad. Like I had spots everywhere. And nothing, the more like I tried to treat it to make it better, like it would like grow in, and then like I'd wake up one morning and be combing and it just be coming out. And mine was definitely stress related. Like when things was going bad, you know, like in my marriage and stuff before, like we got divorced, like I would just look at him and be like, look, you making me bald. Like, because, you know, like the stress was really like taking my hair out. And then I got to the point where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to shave it off. And then I just shaved it off, you know, and start putting tracks on it or whatever until it grew. And then, you know, I wore wigs for a while and all this different stuff. But, you know, when your hair fall out, like when it's falling out and there's nothing you can do, you know, and you got it, like, I mean, it was bad because like I went from having one patch to having several, just like everywhere. And there wasn't no like comb over action. Like, you know, there was nothing to be done. And so like, you know, having your hair fall out and having, you know, those experiences kind of left me, I'm not going to say, it didn't really mess with my self-esteem as much as just make you feel, I don't know. It made me feel some type of way. I could say that. Like, I didn't feel like, oh, I don't know. I felt weird because my hair, you know, especially because I've done so much with my hair. And over the years, you know, I've always had thick hair and I've always been able to kind of do anything to it. So when it fell out, it kind of left me kind of feeling a little confused and about myself for a while. Like I kind of got lost in the shuffle of my hair not being right. So have you guys ever kind of had those experiences where it's like, you know, your hair is off and you just off? Like the day, you know, that bad hair day or that bad hair week, or you get a style and you think it's cute and then you get home and like, this ain't right. You know,
I had that. I was young. I got a really awkward haircut. And when I say young, I was like maybe 19, something like that. So I was kind of like taking myself to the salon, and the person who did my hair cut it in an awkward, it was just very awkward. And my sisters would pick on me. They would call me Charlie Boy because they said I look like a little white boy. And it was a cut like that. And so it did kind of mess with your self-esteem, because it's like when it's a bad cut, you have to just wait for it to grow out. And then when it grows out, it grows into this weird shape. So, right. You know, that was my last time going to that person. I was just so sad because, you know, you kind of build up in your mind, I want to cut, you know, I finally talked my parents into letting me cut my hair. And then it was just like downhill.
Your sisters are mean.
Oh my gosh. They called me Charlie Boy. For like, I don't know where they got that from, but it was like the funniest thing to them.
I went to, you know how you go to the hair school sometimes and you can get your hair done for like $3? So I did these two things. One time I went to the hair school to get my hair done. And so when I walked in, it was not a black hair school. So I was definitely an experiment for them. So the girl was like, okay, we got somebody, she's gonna do your hair. And like the girl was so proud of her work when she got done, and she spin me around. And I looked in the mirror and I was just like, okay. And I gave them my $3 and left. And I went home and I was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I let these people do my hair. It was horrible, y'all. Like it was like some kind of little spiky straight thing she was trying to do, and it was just like, you can't do that to our hair, so it didn't really work out so well. And I was just kind of like, why did I even sit there and let that happen? But I did. I sat through the whole thing. I let them practice on me, and I was like, well, she got a good little practice, but that's not gonna work out so well. And then this other time I bought a Groupon, and I went to the salon and I was like, okay, I got this little Groupon. It was like $15. Go in, get your hair done. And yes, I went to the salon. It was near my house. And I live in an area where they don't have a lot of salons for us. And so I went in and I let this girl, again, not us, do my hair. And I walked out of the salon, and it was my hair was fully natural. So I walked out of the salon. She had pressed it. And, you know, like she felt like she did her thing, spin me around in the chair. She felt like it was fabulous. And I was like, yeah, thanks. And so I went out to the parking lot and it was raining. Before I got home, my hair had shriveled up.
Right.
Before I got home, I literally didn't like, and I lived maybe 5 minutes away from the salon. And so I walked from the salon to my car, and my hair just went. And those were the last, like that was, I was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. I need to find a permanent person that's mine that can do my hair the right way. And yeah, so that was that. But I spent a whole season, and I'm going to say this. First of all, don't be judging me, okay? All the little people in the comments, do not be judging me when I say this. But I went through a wig phase when my youngest son was a baby. And during that time, my husband never saw my real hair. I literally slept I put a bonnet on top of the wig. And like,
what was that?
Because I didn't know what was going to happen with my hair. So like, because I could control the wig, because it was like, I mean, literally, like I would go in the bathroom, I would brush through the wig, I would trim it like it was my real hair. If it got like, tangled or whatever, like I would just cut the tangled pieces off and like trim the wig like it was my hair. But I walked around with these wigs on, and like if I needed to switch them out or whatever, I would do it in a locked bathroom. Nobody could enter. And I would like do everything in the locked bathroom, switch out the wig, and then at night I would put my bonnet on top of the wig like it was my hair. And I did that for several years. Like just several years. And then finally
did your husband ever question you about like why, okay.
Never said a thing. He just pretended like it wasn't happening. I think he knew better, and he knew not to go in that direction, because he either didn't want to make me cry or he didn't want to make me yell, one or the other. Yeah. But he was just not gonna go there. Now my sisters, they would be like, are you serious right now? Like, this is really what you're doing with your life? Like, this is how you live? And like, you I'm like, no, like this is how I am choosing to live my life right now. And I did that for a while. Thinking back on it now, it's hilarious and it's the craziest thing, but I did it for a while.
Well, thank God that your husband, he is a praying man. The Lord gave him a good, healthy dose of patience and understanding. Because, girl,
I'm like, this girl is a nut.
that is a lot. So, I know like as of late, it's kind of been, like the natural movement, and, people talking about the women we have to take our weaves out, and, the women got fake everything, weaves and nails. And, do you ever feel like the standard is just so high for a Black woman? Like, do you feel like, as women of color, it's always, kind of like we're always jumping through hoops? Like, first it was, this wasn't enough. So then this wasn't enough. Do you ever feel like we're overly criticized as women of color?
I think so. And a lot of it kind of comes sometimes from within our own community, like the whole perm shaming,
Right.
But it's in some settings, the hair is too ethnic. Other settings, it's not ethnic enough.
Right.
So it's kind of, why not promote health? Perm, natural, straight, curly, colored, whatever. Be happy, be healthy.
Right.
So it does seem like, other people, it doesn't seem, I've never, been anything other than African American female, but it just seems like they can just kind of get up and go and not have to think twice about, is my hair fitting into this mold, or is
Right.
it this, or is it that, or anything like that. So I mean, it's interesting. I think it does bother me to hear people shame people, to say you still put in that, or you still doing this. Everyone doesn't have to be the same.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Trina?
I don't know. I'm a hair person, so I like it all. Like, I like weave. I mean, when I see it on people, you know what I'm saying? Like, a woman could have lace front, she could have all kinds of colors, braids, locks, weave, whatever it is. I just like, if your hair is looking cute, I'm loving it. You know what I mean? So, for me, if your hair looks nice, I'm all for it. Like, I have no preference as far as, I love a big afro, and I also like a lace front. I like it all. If your hair looking cute, I'm gonna give you the, hey girl, you look cute. So I don't know. I just don't have a preference when it comes to what kind of hair it is. I like everything. If it looks cute, I like it.
Shanetta? So do you feel like the bar is really high for us?
I think I definitely think the bar is high for us in that we're critical on ourselves, on each other about what hair looks like. But I think I'm a little bit like Trina, like if it looks cute on you, it just looks cute on you.
Right.
And I may not ever try it.
Right.
It really looks cute on you.
Right.
It's not something like I'm not one, like I know what my limitations are as far as like what I will and will not try and will not do. And even when I do like get on my risky side where I'm like, oh, I'm gonna try something different, I'm gonna do a middle part. It never turns out right.
Right.
Never turns out right.
A middle part.
I'm like, no, that didn't go so well. That was terrible. but yeah, that's as risky as it gets with me. Like, I'm gonna part it in the middle. Not gonna part it on the right this time.
Silly.
But yeah, like I do think that we can be hard on each other, but I think that there's so much that we can do. There's so much variety. Like, I think what I get irritated most with is when I see somebody they've done nothing, and it's just kind of like, of all the options that we have,
right? You went with nothing.
This is what you chose to step outside of your house looking like. Like, there's so many options for you. You can definitely, like, I mean, it's just so many options for us with hair. And like, I mean, you can shave it off. You can, you can slice it to the side, slide it to the side, dye it, whip it back, lay your edges, wear an afro puff, wear a ponytail. Like, it's so many things you can do. I think I just get more frustrated when I see people who just didn't even like, and you could try, but you don't try. Or your hair is laid and your kids look like they just like came through the ringer. And it's just kind of like, you didn't want to put that baby's hair in a ponytail. You didn't want to braid it. You didn't want to throw a couple of beads in her hair. Nothing at all. You didn't want to do any of those things. those are the things that I think for me, I'm just kind of like, come on, we can do better than this.
Well, I would definitely agree with you on that. Nothing as an option. It's like you went all the way through every, no, not gonna do that. No, nothing. I'm gonna go with that. And just, yeah, the nothing that kind of irks my life. It drives me crazy. And yeah, the kids, but in the defense of some parents, I do my daughter's hair. Even now, my daughter, for whatever reason, it always looks like she's been breakdancing on her head. Like she literally looked like, you remember back in the day, you see them spin around on their head? That's exactly what my child looks like. No matter, it doesn't matter. She got a hairstyle is one day. Even when I braid it up, she manages to just, I don't know. So sometimes in the parents' defense, they did it. It may not look like it, but they did. Because I promise, I looked at my daughter on Sunday and I had braided her hair. And it was like some small braids. And I don't know. I don't know what the last day that I looked at her was. But like when I looked at her on Sunday in church, it was just a ball of fuzz. And the braids had only been there like a week. It was only a week. So yeah, sometimes parents, it's hard. I know some of y'all are doing it, but yes, like Richard said, laziness is inexcusable. Yeah. That's right. Not just with your hair, but in any area. But like I said, there's so many possibilities with your hair. There's so many ways you can express yourself. I guess even if it's a nothing day, that's an expression as well. I do believe that, our hair is definitely a reflection of who we feel like or what we feel like. I think that is expressed in our hair as well as, in other ways. But I think the possibilities are endless. And as we're all different and individuals, so should our hair be. You are an individual. However you want to do it, I think, the possibilities are endless. Our beauty is not tied solely to our hair, but our hair can definitely accessorize our beauty. So ladies, don't give up on it. It's yours. Make it great. And until next Tuesday, be safe. And thank you guys for joining us. We're here every Tuesday at 8:30. We appreciate you and we will see you next week.